Hello everybody, this is Lila in Hawaii. Years ago I made little stuffed brooches or heads like this, and I just thought about them again the other day. Hadn't made them for quite a while, and I thought, that's something nice and quick and easy and can be actually pretty useful. So I made up some more, and I'm going to show you how you do them. There are a couple of little tricks to them. First of all, you need a printed image, and make sure it's the head of a woman, not too big. This one is a little large, but I'll probably cut off some of the hair. Then the next thing you need is 2 pieces of silk or fine cotton, and that's going to be the backings, because you're making sort of like a little pocket. And then you need 2 pieces of cotton batting, like that, and you sandwich it. You put 2 pieces of cotton batting, and make sure that there's an opening at the bottom, and then you put another piece of silk at the back. So you've got silk, 2 pieces of batting, silk again, and then the last thing is the image. You just check that everything's okay, and you can pin it. Normally I don't, but this is kind of slippery, this one, for some reason. So I'm going to go ahead now. The next thing you do is zigzag around it with the sewing machine, the shape you want. And you want to downsize it to a small, like about a 2.5 to 3 by 2, say a 3 by 2 basically, or even smaller. So the first thing I'll do is I'm going to go over here and I'm going to quickly zigzag around the edge of it. And it doesn't matter really the color of the thread. This is just white thread. Okay, and I'm going to cut this down because, as I said, I feel like it was a bit too small. And you want to make a pleasing shape, kind of make the neck look nice. As I say, the hair's a little bit big for me, so I'm going to cut the hair down a little bit. You don't want to make the neck too thin. So that's that. So I've cut it down somewhat. I hope you can see that, okay? And you see I've zigzagged all around there, changed the shape a little bit. Now this is going to be a little bit long. The next thing I'm going to do is cut as close as I can to that zigzag, right around like this. People who like everything turned inside out and will probably be screaming right now. And I'm also going to use glue. No, not glue. Yes. Okay, so all that got cut off. And then, as you can see, it's still a bit long, so I'm going to decide probably about there. So now I've cut it like that. The next thing is I'm going to stuff it a little bit. Just a little bit. And make sure when you stuff it that you're stuffing between the 2 pieces of batting. So you take some stuffing, and I always use, because I'm a nurse, I got forceps around, haven't I? There we go. So just give it a pleasing little poof. You can stuff it, of course, how you like, but I think for these you don't want it too fat. You just want it pleasantly, because it really has to support the lace and the beading, diamante. Okay, so there I've stuffed it. Now I'm going to go back to the sewing machine, and I'm just going to zigzag across that bottom part. Of course, you could always do this by hand, but why? Okay, so that's good. Now, the next thing to do is to figure out some ornamentation. And I have a sort of a formula. I use a piece of diamante. I use some lace pieces. This cut off something or other, don't know what, but it's an old whatever. And so it has lots of motifs. That's what you're looking for, lots of motifs. So let's see here. Not quite sure. I'm cutting between, and I'm just going to fiddle with it. Okay, it's got leaves and a flower. I'll just get rid of that because I know that's going to be too much. So that'll help me a lot. And I'm going to cut off the raggedy bits. That's that so far. However, that's too big. You don't want a really, really big motif. So I'm going to cut it down to a suitable size. Now, of course, these can be any color. I chose these colors. Here's another suitable piece of lace. And this I made. I've got an embroidery machine, so I made this piece of lace. Because it's curved, I like that. It curves around the face very nicely. So I've got that. I also cut this little pearl piece of something or other, and if you notice, I've used it as her hat. This one's not finished, and actually what I'm going to do is, you see I've already put the lace there and the lace there, a little piece of leftover diamante there. So I've got another piece here. I collect all these little bits, and it's got a little, oh gosh, it's got a little knob on the end, and I thought of cutting it off, and then I thought, no, I'm going to leave that. So that after I've adhered these, and by the way, they're glued on. After they're glued on, I take a few stitches and stitch around that, but it's best to glue them on. So the next thing on this particular one is to add the diamante. And I pretty much decided I'm going to add it like so. And I think I'm going to do the heavy part. You can see why you have to glue it. Stitching it would be very fiddly. Okay, so that's going to sit. This glue dries clear, so that's a bonus. This is going to sit. Now I could add a button, a little bow, whatever. And you say, well, what do you do with these? Well, you put them on things. You can use them as a brooch. Put a pin back on, use them as a brooch. You can put them on collage, you can put them on the cover of books, you could put them on a box top. Now here's a box that I'm making, and here's one that I've done, and I'm going to collage and crazy quilt some things on the top of this box, and she will sit on there like that. You can make these bigger or smaller. Okay, so back to this one. Now I've got her to this point, and I need to look for... Okay, I think I'll start with this and see if I can do something with that that's not going to be too much. Okay, well the best way I see for that is like that. So the next thing to do is to put a few drops of glue. Not glue. Oh, yes. Okay, and there's a right and a wrong side to lace. This one's got a little silver tinsel in it. Okay, so I decided I probably would like it like that. Maybe that's too high. to cut off this bit. And I'm going to just put this, as I say, I'll stitch it later. Just a few stitches here and there. You don't want it too stitched. Well, you might. I don't. So that's that. So there's that. And I must say, that leaf, I'm not totally convinced. Okay, now, what will I put around a head? I didn't pull out all the laces I usually use. I think, let's see if this will work. I don't know whether I like that. This one with the pearls, I like it, but I may take off the pearls. It'd be sort of like a flapper, wouldn't it? First of all, I think what I'll do is I'll put another one here. Another one of these. Don't forget, cut off any bits you don't want. And you can always cut it off later too. So that. Kind of like that, actually. She might be better with just this. Just the wrong side, yes. I keep a little baggie of things. I don't want it too glitzy though. What's that? Oh yeah, I like this. I cut some leaves off an old piece of lace, like so. And I always like those because they drape nicely. Don't want to cover her eye particularly. If I put that there, the rest of it's white and that's cream. It may not look so good. And actually, I'm going to cut these leaves off. There. And that then can go. I'm going to put the leaves there. Okay, so there she is at that point. This one's a little more embellished, perhaps. There's just this side, but I don't think I'm going to put any of that cream lace down there. And I do need to tidy this up a bit. I'm just going to see if I can find another little. I think I'm going to stick with that on this. Okay, let's see. Put that away. Okay, so I'm getting there. I've kind of got an idea where I'm going to put the diamantes, and I just need a little bit of a foundation. Maybe. Just need a smidgen more there, kind of to cover that really. Yep, that's right. So here's another little piece, and I'm just going to overlap it there. As I said, it'll need tidying up a bit later. Okay, now all I need to do is decorate it with some diamantes. Oh, jewels, jewels. And I've got silver base and I've got gold base. And for these, the gold based ones, or the background's gold. You can find these by the meter or whatever at the fabric store, perhaps in the bridal department. So these are newer. This kind, which is much heavier, is older. And I also keep broken pieces and so forth. So on this particular one, I'm going to use some of the gold. So now I'm going to decide how big a piece I want. Okay, right there. So I'll cut it with the wire cutter right there. I decided I want it down here. And across. Not sure how far across that'll go. But I mainly want it to come down the side. Okay. Gives her a kind of a necklace. I'm going to make it into a little question mark, you might say. Yeah. You see why you need the tacky glue? It does glue pretty quickly. Make sure all your diamantes are facing upwards. If it rolls, it'll go the wrong way. Okay, there she is. Now she would be very nice too, because she's dark. She'd look lovely done in dark colors as well. I'm not going to do that. So anyhow, that's that one done. It shows you how to make it. As I said, I've got this one I'm working on here. I've got some I've applied to other items. And what else do I have? I finished this one. This one is complete. This one is complete. And over here, and this bag, I keep everything in little baggies. These are the finished ones. Oh, this is already flipped. So you've got to keep looking at it and make sure that the diamante part is showing. Okay, there you go. Okay, so in this case, I gave her a headband. This case, she's got a necklace and then a single stone there. And I have some single rhinestones that I sometimes put on. This one, do you see, this is what I just did. I sort of curved it around a little bit. Like that. Just 4 different ways of doing it. And in this bag I have 2 more. And these are going to be a little more of a challenge. That's why I left them. Because they're quite faded and the images are quite different, to where white does not look good on them. They're going to have to go with, you know, the tea-dyed look.